She's been caught red-handed. Will Big Tish be changing into a big orange jumpsuit soon? What do you think?
Probably, and she deserves it because, you know, when I saw the lawyer's response, Abby Lowell, I mean, I couldn't have dreamed of a more incompetent response that he made in reference to the DOJ, to the referral to the DOJ.
Yeah.
Okay. She committed mortgage fraud. She violated New York State law and filed false disclosures from New York State. Trump didn't do it. I didn't do it. MAGA didn't do it. Partisan actors didn't do it. She did it.
It's like you're peeling an onion back. She claimed a Brooklyn apartment was a 4-unit property. We talked about that. Official records say it's a 5-unit. She enabled her to then save tens of thousands of dollars. Right. So at the end of the day, this is all about her saving money, making money.
Exactly. Every single financial disclosure that contained false information, she benefited from financially.
Minute left. Are you ever worried? I mean, you're going after Big Tish. She's the attorney general. She's a top lawyer.
I had the FBI up my rear end during the crazy 80 days for 10 years, and they taught me a good lesson. I'm not afraid of her or anybody else.
President Trump, he put out the tweet of your face. You're not even MAGA. What did you think about that? That's pretty cool. You have caught the attention of the President of the United States here.
Good. But irrespective of catching the attention of the President of the United States, she is guilty. She committed mortgage fraud. She filed false disclosures to New York State, and she can't undo what she did. She can point to anybody she wants. It doesn't matter. She was the one who put pencil to paper.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we are headed back to New York once again to discuss who? Big Tish, Letitia James. Yes, we're going to discuss Big Tish again because recently she was on an MSNBC podcast, right? And when I say recently, I mean yesterday. She was on this podcast yesterday, and she was on here pretty much just crying victim, being a victim to the highest degree. And we're going to get into that victimhood that she's going to discuss and explain right now. But one thing that I want to highlight that I find very interesting, and it's something that I noticed that you all have discussed in the comment section as well, is that Letitia James hasn't gotten and received really any support from the left-wing DNC media. She hasn't received any, whether it's with the exception of this podcast, and this isn't even, you know, a legitimate like MSNBC show. This is an MSNBC podcast that I don't believe actually airs on MSNBC, just airs on YouTube. But you haven't seen this being discussed on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC. Like, no one is talking about this. She's not receiving any type of defense from the usual suspects concerning these DNC lunatics and their propaganda machine. And I find that very interesting. And it kind of says a lot to me from the standpoint of, I believe that they all know and understand that this woman is indeed cooked. It's over with for her. If the federal indictment actually comes down, which I do believe it will, these things take time. You can't just haphazardly hit somebody with a federal indictment. You have to make sure all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed, you know, because you don't want to make yourself look like a fool. But the fact that no one is seemingly running defense for her in the mainstream at all, I don't even think, not even on The View, I don't even think they've talked about this at all, really. Like Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg and the gang, no one's discussing this. It speaks volumes to me. And all she's had to fall back on are these podcasts. She did a podcast with another woman recently, a couple of days ago. I haven't discussed it yet. I'm sure I'll get around to it eventually. But now here she is on the failing network MSNBC. She's on a podcast here. But once again, she's not on the network. This aired only on YouTube. So let's get into this here because I want you to hear what she has to say. This is really just, I just shook my head. I'll say that much when I heard this, right? I shook my head. Let's get into what she's getting ready to say right now in terms of her playing victim. Let's jump into this right now.
So, we will push back against these bullies. We will push back against these authoritarian forces and impulses. We will stand up for the rule of law. We've had a winning streak, which is why we are on the enemies list. And I am, again, have been threatened. But it's really critically important that individuals understand that there are Democratic attorneys general who took oaths to our Constitution and to our constituents to do our job and to uphold the rule of law and the Constitution.
You just said you've been threatened. Do you mean legally? Do you mean in other ways as well?
I've been threatened personally. I've received death threats. But I can't be paralyzed by fear, Chris.
I'm gonna let her finish her statement, but yeah, that's what we're doing now. That's when you know you're cooked. When you're taking it that far, you're getting no defense from the propaganda wing of the DNC. You only have these mediocre podcasts to go to run your defense. She doesn't do a good job defending herself because she never denies any of the allegations. When you know you're cooked, you just take it to the extreme. And that's what she's doing right now. Now she's apparently receiving death threats. Let's okay. I mean, I have a little bit more to say on it, but I'll let her speak some more. Let me let this play a little bit more. I'm gonna wind it back just a little bit, but here we go.
Do you mean in other ways as well?
I've been threatened personally. I've received death threats. But I can't be paralyzed by fear, Chris. I've got a job to do. And although the president indicated that they were going to cancel my private protection, or
you hear how much she's struggling to speak, that's how you know like there's something fishy about this. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, let's be honest here, okay? All people in the spotlight, like Letitia James, in politics, literally from Donald Trump all the way down to a complete fool like Jasmine Crockett, they all receive death threats. For crying out loud, LeBron James received death threats. If you're a celebrity that just engages in politics on any level, you're going to get that. People send you all type of crazy stuff. Now, I don't say this to downplay this kind of stuff because sometimes these threats could be credible. Most times they aren't. But at the same time, that's why most celebrities and highly public figures like Letitia James, they have a light security detail just in case for preventative reasons. So saying that you get death threats, that really goes without saying, because that's the case for pretty much any and everybody in politics who is a high profile figure like an AOC or Bernie Sanders and whatnot, right? So like I said, that goes without saying. But I also want you to particularly notice how she then immediately pivots to Trump as she's stumbling and fumbling tragically over her words. I mean, she can't even get a sentence out to articulate herself. And that's what lets me know that this is a little bit of funny business here, because this could be something that could turn around and bite her in the butt if proven false concerning death threats, right? But as she's stumbling and fumbling her words to get out this idea that she's receiving death threats, she then pivots to Donald Trump saying that he removed her security detail. Let's listen to that a little bit more.
And although the president indicated that they were going to cancel my private protection, or I don't know what that means, because I don't know what that means.
This woman can't even talk, but that's very important. And I know it might seem a little bit, oh, you keep stopping it, but you got to hear me out here because we have to unpack this. You're saying that you're receiving death threats. Okay, that goes without saying if you're in politics, right? They all do. But then you're saying that Donald Trump said he's taking away your security detail, but then you go on to say whatever that means. So is he taking away your security detail or not? Now he isn't, and he didn't, because he can't take away your security detail. Your security detail is of your own doing, right? You have your own personal security detail. Letitia James' security detail, to the degree that she has one, it isn't funded under the federal government. If anything, is going to be funded under the local governing body of New York State. So no, Donald Trump cannot take your security detail away. But she then goes on to say whatever that is and whatever that means. That's how you know that what she's saying is bogus. But what she wants to do is make sure to put out there is that God forbid anything happens. And it doesn't have to be the extreme. It could just be something as simple as her car gets egged. But even that is considered an attack. If something were to happen on any level, she knows that these DNC lunatics can always come back to this moment with their selective hearing, and they will completely ignore the fact that she said Donald Trump removed my security detail. I mean, whatever that even means, indicating that she's lying. And they will remove that with selective hearing and only go back to saying Donald Trump removed her security detail, and that's why she's being attacked in this way. Do you see the games that are being played here? This is the kind of foolishness and the nonsense that you have to deal with. This is the type of dishonesty that she's moving forward with concerning these allegations surrounding mortgage fraud. She's in such a horrible place, knowing that she's cooked, that she has to resort to now pulling out the "my life is in danger" card. Unbelievable, if you ask me. This is unbelievable. And I'm going to let this play for a little bit longer. And then we're going to move on to another portion that I want to get to in this video.
My private protection, or I don't know what that means, because I don't know what that means. It was purely performative politics. The reality, at the end of the day, I still go to federal buildings. I have my own detail, and I'm and as I say, my faith and fear cannot occupy the same space. I've got to get up each and every day with this fire in my belly to protect individuals who are under attack and my state.
The victimhood, man. I mean, she's playing it up. She's definitely playing it up. My faith, I can't allow fear to override my faith. And I have this fire in my belly to get up and fight every day. Okay, sure. Let this play a little bit more.
I recently saw the publisher of the New York Times, Arthur Sulzberger, was at a event, I think maybe put on by Columbia Journalism School. And he mentioned that the New York Times is spending 10 times as much in security as they were during the first Trump term.
Yeah.
Is it something similar for your office? I don't know if that's 10x, but would you say that you're spending more and that's more resources have to be put towards that?
Look at the audacity. It's hard to just let this play because it's all so ridiculous. These DNC lunatics literally created a hostile environment that led to 2 failed assassination attempts on Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the only person that actually survived 2 assassination attempts on his life because of the foolishness that these people speak. Yet they can find a reason, whether it be, despite how illogical and nonsensical it is, they can always find a way, I should say, to twist things around and make it seem as if they're the victims. They're the ones that are under attack. They're the ones that are scared for their life. Yet it's Trump that survived 2 assassination attempts. Yet it's Elon Musk companies that has to deal with domestic terrorism, where his Tesla dealerships are being firebombed and literally shot up. And now individuals who just own Teslas that aren't in politics, they have to worry about their personal safety as well, because you have DNC lunatics that are running around, kicking their doors in, scratching their cars up, slashing tires, doing all this kind of stuff. These lunatics are the ones that are engaging in all of the violent rhetoric and all of the physical violence, yet will turn around and say, I'm in fear for my life. And now I have to increase my security detail. And now the New York Times is spending 10 times more money on security. For what? Nobody on the right is doing anything to you. It's only the people on the left and DNC lunatics that are running around here acting as domestic terrorists. But yet they're the ones playing victim, saying that they're in fear for their life and that they have to increase their security detail. This is unbelievable, to say the very, very least.
I think not additional resources, but I think it's all hands on deck. And so there are more detectives outside of my home. My local precinct's on alert. One police plaza is on alert. I think all of my colleagues, all of the Democratic attorneys general, whatever we do, we are doing town hall meetings. We're calling them impact hearings. We had one in Arizona under the leadership of AG Chris Mays. We had one in Minnesota. Keith Ellison had one. Oh, there was one in Colorado. Phil Weiser had one. And we're hosting one here in New York on May 8th. And we're hosting it with Indivisible. And right now we're coordinating with law enforcement.
Honestly, I'm not interested in hearing her continue on with this garbage. Because at this point, she's just rambling. Clearly, she's just rambling. She's been literally rambling the entire time. And that's what, and in my personal opinion, I assume, I don't believe that she's being truthful, because she was stumbling and fumbling way too much. There's way too much and whatever that means. And when you're stumbling and fumbling the way that she is, unable to articulate a simple point concerning your life possibly being threatened, and now I have to increase my security detail, that should be a clear point that you can articulate with ease, because it's not a political talking point that you have to remember, right? This is something that's personal to you and that's going on in your actual life. So you should be able to just articulate that with no problem. Now, when it's time to articulate nonsense about Trump concerning all the lawfare that you've waged on him, you're never at a loss of words. All right? He's never at a loss of words. But then when it comes down to speak about seemingly what's happening in your own life on a personal level concerning alleged threats against your life and the need for extra security details, now all of a sudden you are at an extreme loss of words. You can't put two sentences together to save your life. And I just find that very interesting, to say the least. And I reserve my right to just not believe you. And you guys let me know in the comment section below. Do you guys believe her? Do you believe that she's receiving credible threats? All politicians, even celebrities, particularly those that are in politics and they're on the main stage, right? These are the guys that we hear and see from literally every day. I'm willing to bet you George Clooney can tell you he would receive weird DMs and emails where they're threatening his life. I'm pretty sure LeBron James could tell you the same thing. These are people that are like on the left, right? Everybody can tell you that. But there's a difference between people just talking stupid on the internet and credible threats. And I'm curious to know in the comment section, do you believe that she's receiving credible threats? Idiots on Twitter and credible threats are two different things. I personally, in my opinion, do not believe that she's receiving credible threats. And I don't believe that I don't believe her in this because she was struggling to articulate that way too much, man. It was completely ridiculous the way she was fumbling and bumbling over her words. It shouldn't be that difficult to explain this to us if this is true. I believe that this is just a ploy at sympathy. Like I stated at the top of this video, she's not receiving any mainstream media support. This is the closest thing to mainstream media support that she's gotten. This MSNBC podcast. that did not air on MSNBC. At least I don't believe it aired on MSNBC. It only aired on YouTube and I guess on, you know, Apple Music and things like that, right? So when you know nobody's defending you, your own party is silent about this, and you never, ever, ever state that you yourself are innocent and that these claims are not true, all you got now was the sympathy card, right? That's all you got left. All I got left is the sympathy card. I'm in fear for my life. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, man. And I'm going to leave it there. So with all that being said, that does it for today's video. So please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And do not forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. And to the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.